Hey, what is up, guys? And welcome back to another Magic the Gathering online league. We're back with Eldrazi Ramp on the draw for game 1 against Energy. Alright, we draw. Legacy Sprawler Talisman here. Perfect. We'll pass and pass. This allows us to line up Chrysalis into Mycospawn then. Ideally trying to ramp back into this Ugin that we imprinted. This is a bit of a newer list, though definitely an unrefined sideboard. Taking some inspiration from Louis Coburn, who ran Chalice of the Void main, I believe, at Antwerp. Was looking at the meta, and with a heavy amount of Storm and Affinity. At the time, I didn't think Chalice was right with the heavy amount of whatchamacallit. Didn't think Chalice was right with the heavy amount of Blink, but with Storm and Affinity being two of like the top 3 decks, I definitely think it might be now, because it gives game 1 advantage, which is very beneficial. So, trying it out, seeing if it works. The sideboard is definitely a bit of a mess. 10 of the 15 cards look good. The other 5 are really just placeholders. Thought about like Ice Still. I guess we could play Ice Still on the side. Wouldn't be the first time that we've played creatures on the side like that. We used to do that with Chrysalis back when we played Karn. Figuring that Chrysalis probably is better game 1 into Zoo, Energy, Prowess, etc. But Chrysalis or Ice Still might be better into like Belcher Titan. So, something to think about. I mean, if you're doing that, that tells me you have Discharge. Go to block, sweet block, prior damage, sack, trigger. Great bait, mate. Nope, not happening. You could still kill the Chrysalis, to be fair. Raven Charm. Yep, that's 6 damage. That's fine. And draw. Rumble. I'll fetch Verdant Cat for another Forest. And we kick the Myco. Well, actually, let's pause and think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, Temple, 1, 2, that gives me 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could play Ugin next turn. That actually might be more important than kicking here. Yeah, I think so. So grab the Temple. Into the Rumble. Grab the Sanctum, double return in Yard. And we'll pass. Alternatively, could have played the second Myco, I suppose. Yeah, I could play the second Myco, though he would have been down a spawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So even if they get rid of a spawn, we can play the Ugin, get rid of Guide of Souls. Yeah, so we definitely could have played the spawn, but then we would have been at 7 exactly. So if they interact with a spawn, then we can't. So now they need to interact with both spawns. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, he's still at 7. Never mind. Never mind. So I think this was the right call. Because it ramps us versus the Myco would have been minus on a spawn. You'd have been 1 short. Otherwise, next turn we kick another Myco spawn, so they interact with both spawn, or 1 spawn, then we kick a Myco spawn instead. Yeah, I think this is fine. Because again, we continue to angle towards the Ugin, basically. The only way we absolutely get blown out here is by a Thraben Charm. Oh, not Thraben Charm, a Mana Tithe. There we go. The 2K returns in the yard, though, are good. We're back on 3 main, along with the 2 Chalice main. The one hard part about Chalice main, I will say, onto MTGO, you don't always know what your opponent is on. And for that reason, that game mode advantage isn't always gained unless you make some major assumptions of like, okay, I have Chalice in hand. Oh, I just Windmill Slam it on 0, right? I can get lucky to hit Affinity. This is Blood Moon, that could be a problem, but it bricks them on white, which is pretty good for me. Hasting. Won't we hasten friend? Pyro? Sure. Yield all. Pitching a Flage. But why haste it? Oh, City's Blessing. But again, you still don't even need to haste it. You can float the Pride, which is likely what you do. No? You float the Pyro. Yeah, I mean, you only float 1 card, so I'm confused why you didn't float the Ocelot Pride. Float the Pyro, take 4, down to 12. Flasian Yard, and then you make a board full of cats and elementals. We will draw. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then we can't play the Myco is the problem. And then they have a hasty Flage, potentially. They would need 1 more land, of course. There's a non-zero chance they have 1 or find 1. Oof. So what's the play here? I mean, kick Mike on Arena of Glory. Grab a Jukabog. That gets rid of their Flasian Yard. We're going to take 4, 7 in the air down to 5. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers on the ground. I mean that if everything goes right, we can block 4 of them and go down to 1. The alternative is that we risk it, go for the Ugin, exile the Gydasaurs or Season Pyro, plus up to 15, and have 1 blocker. And then we'd be looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage down to 4. Either ways, we're at very low life totals. And if they have the Flays, they just straight up win. Okay, in that case, we can't play the Windswept Teeth. We'll instead play the Sanctum of Ugin, and I will kick the Myco. So kick on the Arena of Glory, and then Bajuka Bog, target you, get rid of the Flage. We have our blockers, we have the Ugin, we have the K returns in the yard, opponent's down to 25. Surveils. Yeah, because they could have easily gotten to 6 cards in yard for the Flage. So I think that was correct. Like I said, as it stands, I believe we go down to 1. 7 in the air down to 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Block 4 down to 1. It gives us a chance. A slim one, but a chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Leaving back 5. Not enough for a 7-mana value spell unless we don't block the spawns, which is not an option. So we need to draw into a 7-mana value spell to sweep the board with the K return. If they're smart, what they could do is just stack more tokens onto the Season Pyro, meaning that they wouldn't get swept with the K return, meaning my only out would be an Emrakul, or Emrakul, Sire, or Devourer of Destiny. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we do have enough for Emrakul. Another Flage to yard. Yee. Not looking pretty. A second guide will get them there since they now can float 2. Let's make sure they see the line. The Alpha Strike, float 2. That's an additional 2 damage, which will get me to -1 after blocks, I believe. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that we didn't really hit anything of value off of the Rumble. Do you have a discharge as well on top of all that? 2. I don't think it matters. They're just adding insult to injury. Pretty sure we did. Yep. Alright. Lost for game 1. Let's move to game 2. Sideboard-wise, you bring on Holy Heat Dismember. We can cut the Cavern Souls, Gemstone Cavern, and Ghost Quarter. 20 lands is a bit light. We could keep the Ghost Quarter and bring out an Emrakul. 21 is usually pretty safe, but anything below that's a bit rough. Let's run it back like this. Imagine opponent will bring in some form of land hate, Charmaw, Blood Moon, Molten Rain, etc. So we'll just have to play around Charmaw and Blood Moon as best as we can. We can't do much about Molten Rain, though the best thing we can do to play around that is to not stack Utopia Sprawls onto one land. But obviously not wanting to put Utopia Sprawls on non-basics where possible, so give and take. Yeah, definitely seen a lot of energy, so the third character in main does seem good. And Chalice main still is beneficial on the play. On the draw, I think you could trim it out, or rather cut it, since it is a little bit slow, but still Chalice on 1 on turn 1 on the draw is not bad. Chalice on 1 on turn 2 on the play is also not bad. So, give and take. We submitted our deck list, just waiting on an opponent now. Anything else I would cut before the Emrakul? Not really. On the play for game 2. No second land will mulligan. This is keepable. We keep and pitch what? Probably the Ugin. Done. Reveal. Trigger. Trigger. Find Emrakul. Sire. One says, used to watch your videos when I played Root Scale. Appreciate you, opponent. Let's see. Thinking Cyrus 7 Death makes sense here. We'll play Lab, Imprint Devourer, and hold. I suppose actually the better play may have been just to play the Eldrazi Temple here. We do have to be mindful of Charmaw, but we are in the play, which gives us a bit of advantage here. For a Rag. So we're going to have to get rid of that Rag. Oh, almost skipped through my second main. I'm gonna ask what I played at the RC. E-Ramp was good. I enjoyed it. It performed well. Almost got my PT invite. Opponent played, looks like Jessica. I'm gonna guess Blink in the EU. Got 67th out of 1300. Not bad. I lost went in Pro Tour again. Felt that. Well, good performance. In combat, let's not belabor the point. We are going to ramp and exile this Rag. Rag is down. And we hold. Like I said, we're just going to be angling for the Cyrus 7 Death to start. The only way we go for this Rumble is if they get rid of a spawn here. Marshflat's fetch 16 for a Plains and a Johnny. It is an Ajani. Draw. Sprawl. Misty Fetch for a Forest. And Cyrus 7 Death and pass. And pass. Siren 3, pretty good. So even through a Charmal or Molten Rain or Blood Moon, the Sire sticking on board is going to make it pretty difficult to deal with in a meaningful fashion. They still can, mainly with a Thraben Charm or a Static Prison, though Charm will require them to have 4 creatures on board prior to. They won't be attacking here, I don't imagine. Sacred Foundry, tapped, and another Rag. Draw. Talisman, go to combat. Attack with Sire. Opponent will take down to 9. Let's start with Talisman. Sprawl. For red. Though actually may have been beneficial to go for green in retrospect. In case we find another Sprawl, I suppose. Rumble. Myco. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could go for Lab and angle for the Devourer, actually. And sweep the board. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep. So even if they flip a Johnny, we can then devour, flip the Johnny, and sweep board. 3. Or not. Flage Helix target spawn, I'd imagine. Target me. I believe that's going to be a misplay. We'll see, though. If they had targeted the spawn, then we wouldn't be able to devour and sweep. Draw. Chalice of the Void. A bit late to the party. Let's go to combat. This way, if they don't block and go below 7, they can't discharge the Sire. Lab, no imprint. Return Devourer. K return Devourer. Let's fire off. And we'll scoop it up. We'll take the win. Solid. Okay, bring the gemstone back in, trim out a rumble, and run it back. I guess we also could keep the rumble, trim out the ghost quarter in retrospect. Yeah. Sprawl. We are missing Soul Land, but we have 8 off the top on the draw. We'll keep. And pass. Arid Mesa, fetch 19-4. Sacred Foundry, shock 17. Ragavan is a problem. And draw. I mean, I like the K commands, don't get me wrong, but there is such a thing as one too many when you don't have a soul land. Of course, Ragavan here is going to pilfer one, guarantee it. It always happens. Thankfully, we're already prepared for worst case scenario of a Blood Moon, though a Molten Rain 1000% just murders me. Ragavan pilfers and finds Chalice of the Void. Not something they're going to want to be playing here. Well, I guess they could go Chalice on 0, not that it really impacts me. White, blue, Thraben Charm. That could have been much worse. Does mean I can't Surveil with this Verdant Catacomb, though. Again, looking for a Soul Land off top. Flage to Yard. Still some time before they can Flage, though. Chalice on 0. And draw. Temple is the perfect draw there. I will hold. Combat. K command X equals 1. And done. Ragavan down. 3 types in Yard. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're angling towards the Emrakul at this point. And there's a Johnny. And draw. Another Temple. Play the Temple. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold the K command. An Arena of Glory. They're short on Flage. Is this a bombardment? In response. X equals 3 on the Johnny. Well, I guess I could wait. So, actually, yeah, there is some thought of just waiting for them to flip the Johnny. Because if they have a discharge, then they still get the Johnny. Right? Sure. This is fine. I need to be a little bit more reserved around K command sometimes. Attack for 3, down to 15. Second main, do you attempt the flip? And I've telegraphed that I have the K command. So I don't imagine you will. A second of Johnny. So you're going to flip no matter what then. But we should wait until the flip. So a Johnny will ETB. Legend rule a Johnny. So what I can do then is ramp and exile a Johnny. Well, actually, so if I do this, so I could do something interesting where we scry draw exile cat and then exile a Johnny. Yes. So scry draw exile cat for 0. Yeah, the second Johnny kind of threw a wrench into things for the Emrakul, but I think this is still fine. Pings the spawn. We sack the spawn in response. And ramp and exile a Johnny for real this time. And done. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Short 1. Opponent's left with 1 card in hand now. I get a Chrysalis, and they get a cat. Sacks the cat for the spawn, makes sense. We draw. Finds Myco. In that case, we play the Verdant Cat fetch. And I think we shock here. Well, actually, no, we don't need a shock. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I guess we do need a shock. No, we don't need a shock. We'll go Forest. Kick the Myco. Kick your Arena of Glory. And Bajuka Bog. We'll pass. And pass. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so we'll have Emrakul in 2 turns. A second of Johnny, or third of Johnny. Jesus. Sack, target spawn. Yep. Johnny, target me, down to 12. Draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will cast Talisman. I guess actually, let's first go to combat. Attack a Johnny. And we'll sack cat, target me, down to 11. We'll go down to 10, a theoretical 9. Yield all. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pyro, pitch 1, draw 2. This is interesting. Johnny will bolt, targeting. A target Chrysalis, we let it go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8. We're one short if they get rid of the tokens, though. And then we attack with Maiko out of Johnny. They block with a Seasoned Pyro. They bolt me down to 7. A theoretical 4. Do they sack the tokens for the spawns? They do not. Stomping Ground. So at this point, how do we proceed? I'm fairly certain the correct path forward is Ugin Exile Ajani. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Sacrifice a spawn. Trigger, always yield. Ugin, Exile Johnny. And Johnny down. Ugin plus us up to 10. Devourer. Stomping Ground tapped and pass. No attacks. Arid Mesa, fetch, surveil. Will resolve. Arid Mesa to yard. And hold. Plays Windswept Teeth, 1 card remaining. What was this last card? I'm not sure they can win regardless. At least not this turn. I mean, I guess a Johnny hit me for 5? No, even then. They could try and get the Pyro to yard. Go to blocks. We'll block. And sack. And trigger. And draw. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ugin pluses. Another Devourer. Sprawl. 4 red. Had it in hand for a... There's Emrakul. I will exile Bombardment. Yield all. Our turn, comrade. GG's. There's Blood Moon. Path the Exile. Go to main. I suppose we can path, fail to find, attack in, and haste or exert the Arena of Glory. Yep, solid wins. Alright, well, we'll be back for match number 2. Alright. Alright, we're back for match number 2 on the draw for game 1. Kind of an awkward hand, but if you find a temple, it's good. If you find a land, it's also pretty good. And looks like Prowess, if I had to guess. Draw. Cavern of Souls. Not the land I was thinking, but I'll take it. For green and pass. We can K return next turn. Would like a forest though. I mean, a temple would still also be probably one of the best things off the top here. Though a forest so we could then play Utopia Sprawl into K return would also be nice. Cutter into Bauble, I imagine. Nope, no Bauble. Okay, interesting. Draw, Sanctum. Okay, so this gets us closer to these K commands. Question is whether or not we K return right now. I don't think we do. So we will play the Sanctum. For green, for red, because we have green, 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 red, red. Lava Dart down to 14. Light up the stage. Interesting. Was not expecting light up the stage. I wonder if this is more like Boros Burn. Oh, fascinating. Prismatic ending. They could ending a sprawl. Looks like they are going to rather than a Soul Scar. Yeah, this is no longer Prowess, I don't think. I think this is Burn. Though we're sure the Lava Dart we haven't exactly seen much in the way of Burn, so I guess it could just be Boros Prowess. Yeah, they're tapped out. I think we K return, sweep. It was a bit awkward because all the sprawls are on one land. I guess it gets less awkward because if they prismatic, then just 3 mana. We hold up 2 colorless for the K command. X equals 0. Yep, prismatic. We're about to take 7, 9, 10. They could hit us for 10. Down to 4. Up not 2. We'll draw. There's Ghost Quarter. I mean, they can dart at instant speed. So, yes, we will K return. See if they dart to protect the Swiftspear and Monk. That means that's going to be 2 less damage next turn. Yep, dart. Target me down to 6. Camera Souls, name Eldrazi. So now we have the K command to scry, draw, exile a monk at least. 2 cards in hand for another cutter. And Tarfire down to 4. I might be dead regardless of what I do here. Yes. 3, 5, 7. We'll concede. Maybe the better play instead of the K return, was the K command X3, exile Swift Spear, make 3 spawns. Basically just holding up the K command. Yeah, in retrospect, that probably would have been the better bet. Okay, so we bring in the Heats, we bring in the Trinispheres, we can... I'm going to assume they have Darcy still. It's a bit tricky now, because I think normally I'd cut the Ice Tills against Prowess. Tremend and Emrakul, but you still need 2 more is the problem. I mean, we could trim out some K returns and keep 1 in. I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah, we'll do that. On the play for game 2, we mulligan this. What an awkward hand. We'll keep it. Pitch a Sprawl. Yeah, two pretty awkward hands back to back. We'll keep. Pitch a Sprawl. And done. Opponent also mulligans down to 6. They mulligan down to 5. So we could sequence something like this, or we could always hold up the K command on 2. Both are options. Depends on what our opponent plays. But yeah, in retrospect, maybe just holding up the K command for X equals 3 last turn would have been correct. Rumble top and pass. And pass. Wooded Foothills. Fetch 19. For Sacred Foundry Shock. Down to 17. If the DRC will K command it. Yep. Bobble Trigger Surveil. Steel Shaper's Gift. I guess for grabbing Corey's Steel Cut. Bobble target me. We'll see the Rumble. Temple, K command, ramp and exile the DRC and pass. And pass. So next turn we can go Talisman, Sprawl, Rumble. Unless we draw into a land, ideally a forest equivalent. I'll just play land, Sprawl, Chrysalis. White for Prismatic Ending on spawn. Okay. Bobble. Bobble target me. Are they a land light? They are indeed. We'll draw Lab. Lab, no imprint. Yep, so we'll go Lab, no imprint. Cast Talisman. Sprawl. For green. Rumble. Emrakul. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, we grab the Emrakul. And pass. So we're one land off of the Emrakul now. I guess we could have cut the Cavernous Souls in retrospect as well. And it doesn't seem like playing blue. Soulscar Mage. DRC. And passing. Untapped land. Untapped land it is. Actually, how much mana do I have? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. No, we're one short. One short of the Chrysalis and Emrakul. Yield all. And then I'll scoop it up. We'll take the win for game 2. Let's move to game 3. So yes, I'll drop the Cavernous Souls, keep the Bajuka Bog. Bring in Gemstone. Tremenda Rumble for a turn. And run it back. I mean, yeah, we keep. What do we pitch, though? I mean, Rumble, we don't have any green sources. Yep. I guess we have a green source off the Gemstone, so yeah, we pitch a Rumble to that. Keep a second Trinisphere, though they don't play 3 colors, so I don't think they can Prismatic Ending it, can they? Maybe we pitch a Trinisphere. We then Rumble onto Trinisphere on 3. Yeah, let's do that. Pitch Trinisphere and pass. I mean, this telegraphs pretty heavily that we have a Trinisphere in hand. If we draw into a summon a value spell, we can drop it on 2. Paying cost for Swift Spear, down to 19. And draw. Trinisphere and pass. And pass. We'll take one down to 18. And draw. Let's start with Rumble. There is Mycospawn. Play Sanctum and pass. Next turn we can kick it. Set them back a land. And pass in full. Attack for 1. We'll go down to 17. Draw. In that case, Lab. No imprint. Kick the Myco. Hit the Sacred Foundry. Yield all. Grab a Temple. And pass 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are one short of the Sire. Draw. Unholy Heat. Let's start with Rumble. Finds Emrakul, Chalice of the Void. We'll grab the Emrakul. Play the Windswept Teeth and hold. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I believe this should just be GG's. You can't play anything, friend. And Bone scoops it up. We'll take the win. Solid. We'll be back for match number 3. Alright, back for match 3 on the draw for game 1. This hand had one soul land. We so good. And I have 8 hits off the top, and we can dig too deep. The odds are in our not in our favor. It's like, what, 12.5% chance? It might be closer to 20% chance. Do I wanna? I'm gonna mulligan. Oh, it's not much better. It's not much better. Especially if they're on Tron. We really do want these Myco spawns to land early. If us be on the draw, I'm going to mulligan again. That's workable. So, how do we proceed here? I guess we pitch. Done. Reveal. Gonna be pretty top deck reliant, but we might be able to make it work. Oh, okay, this is not Tron, this is Aggro. Right. Commercial District. Top Sprawl. For green. If they have a Wasescape here, that would kind of suck. And pass. Secluded Courtyard, name Eldrazi. So this is Eldrazi Aggro. Not looking pretty for game 1, but we'll see. Fleshraker. Swing for 2. Down to 18. I mean, our best case scenario here is that we find ourselves casting a Sire 7 Death soon, because Sire's really hard for them to deal with in a meaningful way. I mean, it's still a turn 2 Myco spawn cast, which is pretty damn good. So, like, all things considered, we're not exactly in the worst spot in the world, given that we mulligan them to 5 with a gemstone, which really meant we mulligan down to 4 on the play. So, like, all things considered, not bad of a board state. Could have been much worse. I do wonder if keeping the Rumble over the Sprawl would have been worth it, but then we potentially just absolutely get hammered if we don't hit lands. No Imprint. Line Breaker would be pretty rough here. Is it Line Breaker? No. What is this? Phyrexian Metamorph on a Fleshraker? Yup. Down to 15. I don't imagine they attack here. But they can very easily just fireball us out the game now. Yeah, Metamorph on a Fleshraker is pretty good. I mean, Metamorph on a whatchamacallit, and a line breaker also seems pretty promising. That's kind of interesting. Draw. Cavernous Souls. No reason to reveal, that's all we have. Talisman and pass. I need a K command or Sire here. No attacks. And we'll hold just the fame that we have something. But methinks we're dead. Bobble trigger. The Flesh Rakers. Not much we can do about that. Always yield. And always yield. Methinks I am dead. Not to mention with the It That Heralds, these spawns are 1/2, so even if we're not dead this turn, not looking great for next turn. Is this another Flesh Raker? No. What is this? K command? K command for 3? Do we die to that? 6, 8. No, I don't think we're dead to that, but I mean, they can redraw off Bobble, not to mention digging 3 deep for something else, so pretty damn close. That Metamorph is interesting though, because it really does act like, obviously you need a line breaker or flesh raker on board, but it acts as line breaker 5 through potentially 8. That's kind of fascinating. I like that idea. I like Metamorph here, because it is really a 3 mana plus minus 2, right? I guess they also can attack after all this, so yeah, that will be additional 4 damage plus an additional 6 down to 1. They attack, we can block 1, we die. Yeah. We can see. Let's not belabor the point. Alright, let's go to sideboard. We're gonna want Unholy Heat, Dismember. K returns alright, but Jukabog isn't necessary. Cavernous Souls isn't necessary. Gemstone out. We're at 20 lands though. I like to keep at least 21, so I'll bring a second Ghost Quarter in. They don't play too many basics, so bringing Ice Till over Chrysalis is appealing here, funny enough. And Chalice of the Void is definitely out, so we bring in Chrysalis. And I'll say that we will cut Ugin or Devourer. Devourer's not doing much here. So we'll cut a Devourer and run it back. I guess we could have cut another K return for another Chrysalis. I wouldn't be against that. I'll keep here. It's a little bit slow, but if we're able to land the Sire, it is quite nice. We draw into a Soul Land, which we have 8 hits off the top, then a Chrysalis on 2, into a Mycospawn kicked on 3, into a potential Sire 7 death on 4 is pretty good. Final mulligan down to 6, reveal Devourer of Destiny, and Forest, Sprawl, for red. We'll pass. Devourer, and pass in full. Flute Courtyard Lab. Okay. Temple. Do you have an It That Heralds? You do not. Draw. Commercial District. We'll cast Talisman. Play Commercial District. Surveil. We'll put Chrysalis on top. I mean, Chrysalis and the Chrysalis ain't bad. But we'll likely go Chrysalis into Myco Spawn into Sire. And pass. Tis a lab. Imprint 4. Do you have a TKS? Looks like a TKS to me. Finds TKS. I imagine you take the Myco spawn then. Myco spawn into a Ghost Quarter could set you back a land. Takes the Sire, okay. Question now becomes whether or not we angle for the kicked Myco spawn, or if I just go for the lab. I think we'll still angle for the kicked Myco here. Go Chrysalis. It also presents a good blocker for the TKS. Go Stomping Ground, tap since you already know about it. We'll pass. And hold. I mean, if you have another TKS, that gets a bit messy. Name's Eldrazi. Okay, this is 5 mana. If that heralds into Linebreaker. There's the Linebreaker. Do they haste the Linebreaker? They don't really want to attack here, I don't think. I mean, they attack the TKS Linebreaker. We block the TKS with Spawn. We block the Linebreaker of Chrysalis. And then it will trade. It's a 7-4. Like I said, I don't think they want to attack. I think it'd be ill-advised. So now we can kick Myco. Draw Talisman. So confirming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 down to 5. Unfortunately, one short. If this was a land, that would have been perfect. Would have been able to play the Chrysalis into the kicked Myco. But I think, yeah, we will kick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Trigger. Kick the lab. And we grab the Ghost Quarter. Hit the Temple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The only downside here, of course, is that if we draw into a Summon of Value spell, we can't cast it until after the Chrysalis, which is kind of okay. Because we should be keeping them off of a lot of their castables this way. And there's a snow-covered waste. Yeah, so they really can't attack here. Because again, we block, we block, we block. We grow, trade, eat, and eat. We have another Chrysalis on deck. It's another It That Heralds. It's not bad, though. Yeah. So now it gets a bit more complicated. So in that case, they likely just attack the Linebreaker and hit me for 9. I think applying it onto anything else would be ill-advised. But I guess they could apply it to It That Heralds. Because now this forces me to block with both the Myco Spawn and the Crystals, but I think it's still fine, actually. So we block, block, block. Otherwise, I suppose I could double block the TKS. Double blocking the TKS actually doesn't seem like a bad idea. We'll take out the Chrysalis. Give me the Myco Spawn and play another Chrysalis, which then can grow to 5/6. And block the It That Heralds. Or not the It That Heralds, the Line Breaker. So yes, we'll go to blocks. We'll block and block. Again, they'll take out the Chrysalis. We'll draw a card. We'll take 9 down to 11. Otherwise, it becomes difficult for us to deal with the TKS later. TKS will draw us a card. K command is solid. End step and draw. Rumble. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. So I will cast Chrysalis. Hold up K command. X equals 2. I will then pass, because then we can combat trick and shrink their board. Because we'll trade at the Line Breakers still. Becomes an 8/5 down to a 7/4. We go up to 6. +2, 8. Yes, this works. Perfect. We go to blocks. We block. We block. We block. We then, before damage, will sack trigger. Ramp and exile the It That Heralds. Done. Shrinking the Line Breaker. Sack trigger. And sack trigger. And that should be a clear board short of a Dismember. And Bone scoops it up. We'll take the win. Alright. So yes, we'll want another Chrysalis. We'll trim out another K return. We'll bring in the Gemstone. And trim out a Rumble. No, we'll trim out another K return. K return's kind of hit or miss because if they have that Heralds, it's just so hard to deal with a lot of their board, I think. Yeah. Honestly, I think just take out the K returns entirely, keep the Devourer in. Yeah, let's do that. Like, there's a world where the K return does matter, but we have to set it up in the yard first, which is a bit difficult at times. Oh, this is interesting. Dismember, Ice Till. If we can find a Talisman off this Devourer or a Sprawl, this looks really good. Opponent will reveal Devourer. I will also reveal Devourer. I will pass. Flute, Sire, Territory, Forest, and passing. Trigger. No such luck, but we do find a Ghost Quarter, which can work the way I want it to. Either that, we grab the K command, but I think I grab the Quarter. I'll draw into the Quarter. What we'll do is we'll Wooded Foothill and hold. Yes. Wooded Foothill, hold. Cavern Souls, name Eldrazi. Do you have an It that heralds on 2? You do. We'll put a pause on end step. Wooded Foothills fetch and surveil. Lab. We'll put lab to yard. And we'll draw another Myco. I suppose at this point I will play Lab Imprint Devourer. Now I almost wish I had grabbed the Rumble. Maybe I should have grabbed the Rumble. Set it for a kicked Myco on 3. We hold up Dismember for a Line Breaker. There's Temple. Do you have TKS? I mean, we have a ton of redundancy, so a TKS is fine, but looks like Line Breaker. There's the Line Breaker. Line Breaker will haste itself, I'd imagine. Yep. And dismember the Line Breaker. And we'll pass. Down to 13. Opponent accidentally skipped through their attack. We'll draw. Chrysalis is nice. Myco, yield all. We will grab a E-Temp and pass. And pass. Next turn, we'll kick Myco Spawn for another Ghost Quarter. And then we should be able to start Ice Till looping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 4, +2. I mean, we could play Ice Stone the Chrysalis next turn. If we need more bodies on board, that's another option. So we have some good lines available to us. We have a kicked Myco Spawn. We can go Ice Till into Ghost Quarter loops. We can go Ice Till into Chrysalis. So we have some good options available here. I think the one I'm thinking of, though, is probably Myco Spawn into Ghost Quarter Cavern, so they're off of red. I'm pretty sure they play, like, what, 1 forest, 1 waste, maybe 1 mountain? Big maybe there on the mountain, though. What say you, opponent? Was that line breaker the linchpin? Very well may have been. Opponent's at a significant time deficit, but I don't foresee this last game going long. We can't Ice Still into Ice Still, that's not an option, but we can definitely Ice Still into Chrysalis, yeah. Because we tap green, Ghost Quarter it for Forest, Lab, Ice Still, Fetch, Forest, or I guess, yeah, we would have to Shock, which is only downside. There'd be 4 damage down to 11, then Chrysalis. But it would give us 4 bodies on board, which is very relevant. Yeah, I do wonder if the Ice Tills on the side is worth it. It might be. Like I said, it won't be the first time that we've put creatures like Ice Till or Chrysalis into the sideboard rather than playing the main. We used to do that during the Grinding Breach meta. But looks like opponent may have stepped away from keyboard, so what we're going to do here is we're going to pause the recording real quick and return once they have passed priority. Alright, and it looks like opponent did disconnect, unfortunately. Not sure what happened there, but a win is a win. GG's to Thragro Tusk. Probably like Thragro Tusk, yes. They're part of the Eldrazi Tron server. They pretty much main Eldrazi Aggro, so fun time playing against them. But we'll be back again for match number 4. Alright, back for match 4 on the play for game 1. I will keep opponent will mulligan down to 5. Reveal Devourer and trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I suppose going for Sire's tempting. The other option, of course, being Wooded Foothills, so we can hold up a K return. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go Wooded Foothill. And Lab, Imprint, pass, and hold the off chance it's relevant. As much as I would have liked to have angled toward the Sire, I think we hold. Opponent has a Flooded Strand, no fetch. I wonder if it could be Ruby Storm. Fetch 19, second main, almost past their turn, I guess. Temple Garden, Shock, the 17. And... oh. Is this Zoo? Interesting. We'll draw... huh. I mean, I'm tempted to fire off this K return then, but I think I'll start with the Rumble. That's kind of unfortunate. We'll grab the Talisman and pass. Actually, let's sack spawn for Talisman and pass. And pass. So Nakado's a 3/3. So it is Zoo. Do they have a Kavu? So I want to try and set up this K return as a sweep. Another Nakado. Draw. Emrakul. Emrakul's pretty good. 4, 8, 9, 10. We'll play the Wooded Foothill and pass. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, the Coddle Beatdown might just get him there. Down to 14. Triumph for a Sign of Draco. Yes. Take the 6 down to 11. The problem with fetching here is means we're dead on board. I think I kind of have to. Commercial District Surveil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're short. Put Devourer into yard. And draw. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got nothing. We will concede. Yeah, Nakado's not as common anymore, so surprised to see that. Okay. So in that case, against Zoo... Unholy Heat Dismember in... And we take out the Chalice of the Void. Gemstone. Normally we take out the K returns. We bring in the Ice Tills. And run it back like this. Could bring in a second Ghost Quarter. And trim out an Emrakul. Let's do that. On the play for game 2, we'll keep Reveal Devourer, Trigger, Leyline. I will grab the Chrysalis. Lab Imprint, Ugin, pass. And pass. Arid Mesa for white, for green, for red. Draw. Play the Verdant Catacombs and pass. Ragavan will pilfer. Ragavan connects. Ragavan will pilfer. Ragavan finds. Ugin Lab. Second main phase. Arid Mesa fetch. Steam Vent Shock 4. Kavu. End step. We will fetch and surveil. Worst case scenario here is a consign, K command top. And draw. They could also have Stubborn Denial, so we need to be a bit mindful of that. I mean, right now I think I'm angling into this Devourer if this trigger does not get consigned. It did not. Good stuff. So they attack the Kavu, we'll take it. We'll block the Ragavan of Curseless, of course. 4 mana, 4 cards in hand, go to combat. Kavu will attack. Ragavan and Kavu. No response. Go to blocks. We could block the Kavu. And if we do that, it means that we don't angle for this Devourer. Feels like they have a Flage is the thing. Before damage. Leyline Binding on the Chrysalis. We'll sack and hold. No damage. We draw. Cavernous Souls. I'll play the Forest, hold up the K command. Surveil. In that case, we're going to go after the Kavu now. I'm going to exile and ramp. And done. Do you have consign to memory? You do not. That's pretty huge. We'll hold. So no consign, no stubborn denial. I will block. No pilfering for the rag. So next time we can devour the Leyline Binding. Or we can Ugin. I think we'll go Cavernous Souls, name Eldrazi. And exile the Leyline Binding for the Chrysalis. Let's see if you have... Nope, no consign still. We have taken control of the board once again. No combat. Goes to combat. We'll block with Devourer. Why do that though? Tribal Flames? Question mark. Interesting. Yeah, this is definitely an older version. Tribal Flames is not very common. We'll draw. Sire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In that case, trigger. Yeah, unless I haven't looked at Zoo in a hot minute, I guess we could take a peek. And Sire 7 death. And hold. Do we want to attack here? I will. And we'll hold once again. Yeah, Tribal Flames is definitely not common. Looks like the Doorkeeper version's more common. This definitely feels like an older list by opponent. And draw. Unholy Heat. Let's go to combat. Attack with Cyrus, 7 death. Sire connects, which means it has pseudo hexproof. I will sack the spawn. And I will attempt to exile the Kavu or the Leyline of the Guild Pact. I'm thinking Leyline of the Guild Pact would be good here, actually. Yield all. Leyline out. I will 0 Ugin. Cast Talisman, exile Kavu, and then hold up Unholy Heat. Opponent will scoop it up, we'll take the win. Okay, we'll bring the Gemstone back in and trim out a Rumble. And run it back. You know, I brought in the Ice Tills, but I didn't bring in the Shifting Wood. Funny. I guess I could... We don't really need 2 Ghost Quarter. We can bring in the Shifting and run it back like this. Imagine we'll be on the draw for game 3. Somehow we have lost all of our game 1s today. Not sure what's up with that. We've already been on the draw for everything but this match. Interesting. I'll keep it. Not my favorite hand, but it is workable. If I can draw into a forest or forest equivalent, that would be nice. Especially if this is a Ragavan, yeah. So in that case, I think I have to pivot to Lab. Yes. Lab. Imprint. We can play for Stubborn Denial. Wooded Foothill to combat Dismember. Ragavan down. And Pass in Full. Just means now we're delayed on this Unholy Heat unless I draw into a fetch. Would have preferred to Unholy Heat the Rag rather than the alternative, another Rag. Oof. Draw. Emrakul. Commercial District. Bog on top for you. And pass. Bolt me. Yeah, definitely an older version. Much more aggressive. Down to 13, down to 11. Floodstrand fetch, down to 16 for Triumph into Sign of Draco. Yeah, desperately need a forest or forest equivalent here so we can play this Chrysalis. And there's the Bajuka Bog we fed you. And draw. That is a K command, which does deal with the Rag. So let's do this now. Scry draw, exile the Rag. Try and find a land here. And there's a Heat bottom draw. Carousels, name Eldrazi, and pass. We'll go down to 7 as it currently stands. Down to 7. Second main phase, end step, and draw. Ugin, cast Chrysalis. Yield all. Do you have a Leyline Binding? That would be unfortunate if so. No binding. We'll hold. Goes the combat. I'll block. Prior to damage, we sack. Bolt, we sack. Really? Alright. We'll pass. I mean, you could double bolt me down to 1. Wild. 3 types in yard. I need a fetch here. Paying cost for Kavu. Lethal's on board. We draw. That is not a fetch. And I believe we're dead now. I mean, we could have read the bolt as them having additional removal. I suppose that would have allowed us to lab imprint into Sire to potentially stabilize, whereas now we're dead, right? Alright, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So maybe I shouldn't have cracked the second spawn. Maybe I should just let it go, which would have given us the possibility of a Sire Ugin to stabilize. Either ways, didn't end up that way. Still a little bit confused about the double bolt. Why they didn't just send that at me, play the Kavu, and set up. But I guess it robs me of mana. So if I don't have follow-up, then I lose. So I guess give and take there. Whereas if I had a fetch here, we could have Unholy Heated the Kavu and still been at 2 at the end of it all. Give and take. Either ways, we'll be back for match number 5. Alright, we're back for match 5 on the draw for game 1. Hand's a bit meh, but it's workable. Opponent will Surveil with Hedge Maze, so probably Neoform or Birthing Ritual. Ooh. No. Neoform or Living End now. I'll play the Windswept Teeth and pass, but unfortunately I think this is going to be a bit more of a non-game if this is in fact Neobrand. Yep, that is Neobrand. We'll put a pause on end step. We'll fetch. Surveil. Stomping Ground to yard. We'll draw. K return. I will play Lab Imprint Sire. And cast Rumble in a vain attempt that I think this is going to matter. There's the Myco. The alternative line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, we're definitely not going for the Emrakul, so I'll grab the Myco and pass. There's a shot we can kick Myco to rob them of a land to delay them for another turn, but I'm not confident of that. So it's definitely Neobrand. And pass in full. Yeah, still think back to the last game. Maybe I should just read the first bolt as they had a second one on deck. There's the Allosaurus Rider. There's the Neoform. Do we find Gulta for the OTK? No Grizzlebrands. We're not necessarily dead yet. Keywords. I do feel like there's a lot of decks in Modern. I feel like the only reason why something's not banned out of them is because of how little they're played. And I definitely feel like that's a good descriptor for Neobrand. Draw, sprawl. I mean, it's not looking good no matter how you look at it. We play the Sanctum, we cast the Myco. Yield Hall. We get a body on board, but it's very likely not to matter, because most likely they're going to OTK us. Consign on the search. Rude will pass. And pass. And pass. Yeah, I feel like Rider is... Like, you could argue Eldritch Evolution or Neoform are the problem cards in Neobrand, but it really is Rider. If they were to try and tune this deck down, it probably would be that way. They'd then have to rely on things like Hooting Mandrills. It would be significantly worse, but just, I don't know. This deck never feels fun to play against. It never feels fair unless you're playing blue for counter magic. But this will likely be Gulta or Xenagos. There's Gulta. Do you have the Xenagos? I mean, even if you don't, I don't think there's a way for me to get out of this one. You have the Troxa instead. I mean, yeah, there's nothing I can do here. We'll concede. Alright, so how do you want to proceed here? Trinisphere in, Grafdigger in. Gemstone out, Chrysalis out, K-Return out. Chalice on 2's very much okay at best. So maybe bring Ice Still in and the second Ghost Quarter. Run it back like this. On the play for game 2, that is a mulligan. This is workable. We'll pitch a Stomping Ground, but we'll mulligan down to 6 as well, down to 5. We reveal Devourer trigger. We find the Grafdigger's Cage. I'll play... They do have Beseiju, so I'm going to play the Forest and pass. And pass. Next turn, play Wooded Foothill. Play the Grafdigger's Cage. There's a Surveil land. Freyalise, we draw. Land for turn. Grafdigger Cage. And pass. We'll go to end step, fetch Surveil. Question is whether or not we play the Myco Spawn next turn or not. Rumble top. I'm going to say no then. I'll play the Misty Rain. And we will rumble. There's Ice Till, there's Emrakul, there's Devourer. We're going to go with the Ice Tills. And we'll pass. Scouting Tarn fetched the 19. Surveil. So we're angling for the Ghost Quarter loops. End step. Fetch Misty Rain. For a Stomping Ground tapped. And draw. Emrakul, Imprint Devourer, and attempt to kick a Myco spawn. Do you have Consigned to Memory? Misty Rainforest does look to be a consign. Or not. Surveil. Eldritch Evolution to Yard. We will grab a Ghost Quarter. And we'll hold. Garden tapped. Go to end step. Draw. Go to combat. Attack with the Myco. And play Ice Till. I will Ghost Quarter your Hedge Maze. We'll play Ghost Quarter, mill a card. I will Ghost Quarter your Hedge Maze. If they had an Endurance, they would have already used it. Mill a card. And Ghost Quarter your Forest. And fails to find. At this point, we will pass in full. And pass. This limits their options. We'll be able to strip mine them going forward. Planar Genesis. I mean, at this point, you need to find an Endurance, right? And shuffle away my Yard. Even then, that's not a perfect solution. And Bone scoops it up. We got the win. Alright, let's see if we can get the win here in game 3. Being on the draw is going to be pretty rough, though. Alright, let's run this back. I will keep this for the early Trinisphere. We pitch what? We can't pitch the Devourer. So we reveal Devourer. We play the Gemstone. Let's pitch the Stomping Ground. And pass. Devourer trigger finds Rumble or K command? We have a K command already, so I think the Rumble to go digging deeper. Lab Imprint Devourer. Cast Trinisphere and pass. See if you have a consign. Otherwise, this will delay you by at least a turn. Actually, 2 turns as it stands. Fetch Misty Rain to 19. Surveil. Next turn we can Rumble. Rider to Yard. We'll pass. Hedge Maze. Or Island, rather. Draw. Devourer. In that case, I do think we hold K command, because if they try and set up with Rider, we K command X equals 2 and then try and land the Devourer. So we'll go Misty Rain and we'll pass, holding up K command. So yeah, they go Rider here. We can then K command, ramp, scry draw, find a land, cast Devour, exile Rider. But opponent missed their land drop. So I think we just go for the Throat then. Misty Rain fetch. For a Forest. K command X2. Let's look for a Myco spawn. Done. Bottom. Bottom. Draw. Talisman. Draw. There's the Myco. Myco, kick the Hedge Maze, yield all. I will grab the Temple. And pass. And pass. Next turn we can Rumble. Because we can Talisman and Rumble. Probably correct. And opponent scoops it up. We got there. Whew. That was a close one, I feel. But we got there with the Trinisphere. Solid stuff. Well, that will be a 4-1 record at the end of 5. Our only loss being to Zoo. I mean, the hyper-aggressive version definitely clocked me early if double Nacatl in game 1. And I think I could have played game 3 a bit tighter to potentially give me the opportunity to win. But I fell for the bait of sacking the second spawn. But I think if opponent was really thinking it through, me not sacking the second spawn would mean that I have something for 7, and we're looking either for a soul land or we have a soul land in hand, so bolting the second spawn would have still been correct. So I don't know, give and take on that one. Regardless, solid league. The deck feels good. We didn't see Chalice main really come up at all though, so I don't know, I'll have to give that some more thought, though I do think it definitely would shine in matchups like Ruby Storm and Affinity in game 1, so give and take there. With that being said though, that there will be the end of today's YouTube video. As always, if you did enjoy it, please do consider hitting the like button, comment down below if you did see any lines that I missed, any mistakes that I made, or any general feedback be much appreciated. For as much that I hope y'all learn from me in both my successes and failures, I hope I can learn from you all as well. Last but not least, if you're supporting the video and haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button as we continue to grow this channel. However, if you would like to watch these videos recorded live over on Twitch, you can find me there Sundays through Thursdays at 10 p.m. CST and Fridays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. CST, though today, Saturday, December 20th, I'll be live at 10 p.m. CST as I will not be able to make the challenge. With that being said though, folks, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.